Attention, Commander Nation! The clock doesn't stop, and every second Adam Peters doesn't act, Bobby Wagner, the heart and soul of our defense, gets closer to wearing that Dallas star. Are we really going to let go of the linebacker who dominated 10 Pro Bowls and put his body on the line for 17 games? Without him, this second level will be a gift to Prescott and McCaffrey. But that's not all. What about Dami Brown, the receiver no one believed in until he lit up the playoffs with 193 yards? Atlanta is already whispering offers, and if he leaves, Terry McLaurin will have to carry this offense alone when we desperately need weapons. And don't get me started on Zach Ertz. The tight end who caught 7 touchdowns in the red zone is just hours away from hearing Philadelphia's siren call. Are we really going to let Jaden Daniels' only reliable target end up training with our most hated rivals? It's simple. If Wagner leaves, the defense loses its voice. If Brown signs elsewhere, the offense takes a 2-year step back. If Ertz walks, Daniels will be begging for help. 3 moves, 1 catastrophe. The Super Bowl window is closing, and it all depends on what Peters does in the next few days. Will you subscribe now to stay tuned for the decisive moment? Or would you rather find out too late, when Dallas and Philly are celebrating after stealing our heroes? Turn on notifications, leave a like, and stay until the very last second. This isn't just the offseason. It's the battle for the future of the Commanders. The decision that will define Washington's defense. Will they surrender control and let Bobby Wagner walk? Here's the unfiltered truth. Commanders Nation, this is red hot. Did you know that Bobby Wagner, our middle line titan, is hanging in the balance this offseason? Yes, the man who delivered 17 games at 100%, 10 Pro Bowls in his career, and a leadership presence that can't be bought in a store. But here's the question, is Washington willing to pay to keep that experience in the locker room, or will they let another team take him for free? I'll tell you this, Wagner isn't just a player. He's an architect of victories. This year, 9th in effective tackles, 4th in yards allowed per play in coverage. At 34, the man is still a beast. But fans, beware, Dan Pitsuta of the 33rd team made it clear. Wagner needs a partner to free him up. With the Rams, he had Ernest Jones. Here, he had Frankie Louvu. But who's next? Does Washington have a plan to get him a running mate in the second level? Because otherwise, signing him will be useless. So tell me, if Wagner leaves, who leads this defense? Who teaches the rookies how to be professionals? Who steps up when the game gets ugly? This man gives everything every Sunday. And sure, other teams will want his signature. But listen up, where else will he find a role as the absolute leader like he has here? In Dallas? Ha! Philadelphia? Not a chance. In Washington, he's a legend, and he knows it. But beware, no one is safe in free agency. Will the front office offer a contract that reflects his value? Or will they play the classic tough negotiation and lose him? Let me remind you, legend Darryl Green once said, heroes retire where they're loved. Wagner deserves a golden finish here, not a rushed farewell. Final argument. Without Wagner, this defense turns into a rudderless ship. Do you really think Jamin Davis or any of the young guys are ready for that role? Of course not. Plus, after years of mediocrity, is this really the time to waste a future Hall of Famer who wants to be here? That would be a crime, fans. So I ask you this, what's worth more to the Commanders? Investing in a veteran who elevates the entire team, or gambling on a cheap name and repeating the mistakes of the past? Washington's long-awaited bombshell. Dami Brown, the hero the Commanders need? Let me be straight with you, Commanders fans. This team has a monumental decision to make at wide receiver. Yes! Everyone talks about Terry McLaurin, the undisputed number 1, but who the hell will be number 2? That's the dilemma that could define the 2025 season. And listen, Dami Brown, the same guy many wanted to run out of town. The 3rd-round pick in 2021, the one who barely racked up 537 yards in 2024. Is he really the answer? I'll tell you this, the answer isn't that simple. Look, last season, Brown woke up in the final weeks, 331 yards from week 15 through the NFC Championship game. And you know what else? 1.87 yards per route, a number that would rank him among the top 32 if sustained through a whole season. But wait! Why the hell wasn't he doing this all year? No excuses. Inconsistency? Lack of opportunities? I ask you, what kept Dami from being that reliable second option? And here's a key point. Dan Pitsuta of the 33rd team says Brown is no longer just a deep threat guy. 11 catches of 20-plus yards. He's shown versatility. But here's the biggest problem. For years in the NFL and only one good stretch at the END? Is that worth a big contract? Because Dami is now a free agent. Now tell me, true Commanders fans, would you rather bet on a familiar talent who knows the system but has been inconsistent? Or go after a star name in free agency or the draft and risk chemistry and salary cap issues? This is no child's play. Brown's playoff run was on fire. 14 catches, 193 yards over 3 games. Clutch! But what if that was just an adrenaline rush? What if he vanishes again in September? Here's what I say. If the Commanders re-sign him, they need a plan B. They can't depend on Brown to become something he hasn't been in 4 years. But what if Dan Quinn and his coaching staff see something we don't? What if that trust unlocks his full potential? And now, my final argument. Dami Brown isn't a number 2 yet, but with the right contract, motivation, and playoff momentum, he could surprise. Washington can't afford to waste money, but they also can't afford to let go of an ascending talent. And now, I ask you, would you give Dami Brown one more shot as the number 2 receiver, or should the Commanders look elsewhere? Commanders Nation, listen up! The battle for Super Bowl 60 isn't just one with an explosive offense. It takes players who bleed legacy in the critical moments. And today, the name that has all of Washington buzzing is Zach Ertz. Should the Commanders bring him back? I say yes, and here's why. First things first, the numbers don't lie. 66 catches, 654 yards, 7 touchdowns. Yes, 7. All in the red zone, as if the man had a built-in GPS for the end zone. And what did the Commanders do in 2024? They made it to the NFC Championship game. And there, against Philadelphia, Ertz was a monster, 11 catches, 104 yards, tearing the Eagles apart like it was 2017 again. Think that's a coincidence? No! That's experience, clutch performance, and chemistry with Jaden Daniels. Now, tell me, what else does the front office need to see to re-sign him? Dan Pitsuta of the 33rd team made it clear Ertz won't be the number 1, but he is a key piece. Do you know what happens when a quarterback like Daniels has a TE who opens up like a parachute on 3rd and long? Championships are won. But, oh, there's always a but. Someone will say, he's 34, how much does he have left? I respond, did you see Jason Witten play until 37? Or Tony Gonzalez dominating at 36? Ertz isn't asking for $1 million contract. He wants to stay here. He's a veteran who teaches the young guys, knows how to win, Super Bowl 52, ring a bell, and gives Daniels a reliable target when everything falls apart. And pay attention here, today is February 11th, but the league opens on March 12th. If the Commanders don't act, another team will sign this lethal weapon. Can you imagine Ertz with Dallas or Philly? That would be a historic betrayal. My final verdict, Adam Peters, get it together. Re-signing Ertz isn't an option. It's mandatory. If you want to build a dynasty, don't let go of the veteran who's already proven to be key. And now I ask you, Commanders Nation, should Washington do whatever it takes to keep Zach Ertz, or is it time to bet on youth? Commanders, it's time to define the team's future. What should weigh more in Washington's decisions, investing in a veteran who inspires and leads by example, or taking a chance on economical names that could repeat the franchise's historical mistakes? Do you prefer proven quality or mediocre bets? Regarding Dami Brown, his trajectory is irregular, but do you think he deserves one last chance as the secondary receiver? Or is it time to seek external talent that guarantees explosiveness in the passing game? With Dami redefining the offense, do you trust his development or demand change? And the dilemma of Zach Ertz, his experience and contribution in key moments are valuable, but injuries haunt him. Should the Commanders do whatever it takes to keep him and maintain leadership in the locker room, or prioritize young players with long-term potential? Is the team's emotional stability as important as immediate performance? Your opinion defines the nation. Comment on what direction the franchise should take. Let us know if you demand bold decisions or prudence. If you want to be part of this community that analyzes, debates, and builds Washington's future, subscribe now and activate notifications. We are more than followers. We are family. And remember, hail to the Redskins!